Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing an in-depth contouring video for beginners. I did a foundation routine not too long ago for beginners and a lot of people said that you would like to see more of these type of videos, and a lot of people actually wanted to see a contouring video. So I said that's what I would do today for you guys. So naturally I'm starting off with an uncontoured face. I'm going to do alternatives between high-end to drugstore. So for this video I'm going to focus mostly on contouring and highlighting and placement. I'm going to go into the depths of contouring and highlighting for beginners, and I'm going to be using powdered products in this video because they are the simplest. Because it's a beginner's video, I want to make it as affordable as possible. I'm going to be using solely affordable or drugstore brands in this video so that you can create it on a budget. So with contouring and highlighting, you're probably wondering why you do it. Contouring is to shape the face or to accentuate certain parts of your face. For instance, if you were to contour underneath the cheekbone, you would do that to accentuate your cheekbone naturally. But you can also contour across the top of your forehead. That would be to give the appearance of a shorter forehead. If you're like me and you've been blessed with quite a large forehead, you can actually bring your product down a little bit to make your forehead appear shorter. Also, other places you can place contouring products is underneath the lip to give an appearance of a poutier bottom lip, or along the jawline to just kind of shapen it a bit. For this video I'm just going to be doing around the forehead, temples and just underneath the cheekbones because that's the simplest, and when you're a beginner, the kind of easiest steps to go with, or the best steps to start with. For me, I didn't start contouring my face till a couple of years ago, so it's not something I've always done. But when I was contouring, a common mistake that I would often make would be to go in with a ginormous brush and have contour or dark shadow halfway down my face. So what type of brushes should you be using? Contouring brushes come in all shapes and sizes. I will go through some of my favorites. Please excuse the fact that some of these brushes are dirty. I only used some of them yesterday and the day before. Even though they were washed, they stain because you're using a dark powder with them. I want to talk about the different ones. So you can see I have a very big brush here. You're probably wondering why on earth you would use that. And then I have like this type of square shaped brush and angled brushes and rounded brushes. First one I'm going to start with is my Inglot. This is the 36 BJF brush. It's, as you can see, quite tapered, so it kind of goes to like a little round bobble point. This may look like it's huge, but for me this is amazing at using something like MAC Give Me Sun. Not exactly for contouring, but for bronzing the face, and I just like this for a more subtle contour because it doesn't pick up that much product and it kind of buffs it out into the skin, so it makes it look a little bit more subtle than something like these brushes. These are rounded top brushes. This one here is the MAC 109, quite a popular brush for contouring, and then I have the contour brush from Real Techniques. In my opinion, if you have the contour brush from Real Techniques, you wouldn't necessarily need the 109. Why you would use these brushes is you would probably want a little bit more of an intense contour. I don't mean intense as in really dark in your face, but I just mean intense as in like really chiseled, really defined, in kind of, you want to control product as well. You want to keep it to one area. So these brushes are great at getting right in underneath the contour of your cheekbone. Again, they're quite detailed, so they can get right around smaller parts of your face, whereas a bigger brush can be used to get around bigger parts of the face. And the final two brushes I want to talk about, one is the Zoeva, this is the Cheeks Luxe Finish brush. The other one is the Buff and Blend BB05. One of them is like a square shape almost, but it has like a little peak in it. And the other one is an angled brush. I love these brushes because they add product, but they don't add too much. Brush types depends on your personal preference. So contour products, these are quite important, making sure that you pick the correct product for contouring with. With this Kat Von D palette, you can see all the powders in it are quite cool. That's what you want to be going for, is cool toned shadows. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go in with my Sleek Contour Powder. It has a tiny little bit of warmth in it. To contour today, I'm just going to take this really detailed brush. This is the Real Techniques contour brush. So you dip your brush into your product naturally, but make sure you tap off the excess because you don't want to go in too hardcore with it, and then it'll just be impossible to blend out. If you go to the center part of your ear here and just make this kind of fish face, you can actually see a line forming underneath the cheekbone, and that's exactly the place that you want to be chiseling out. When I am contouring that part of the face, I make sure I don't go past the corner of my eye. So I'm not bringing the product the whole way down to the corner of my mouth because again that will look extremely unnatural. So we want to stop kind of around the corner of our eye, and it'll just be kind of where the apples of your cheeks are as well. So you just want to kind of stop below there. So you just want to apply a light dusting of the product, and when you are blending it, because obviously you don't want to create just a line, you want to blend it in circular motions ever so slightly. I mean, not huge spirals, like we're not blending it all over our face. Blending it upwards is the most important thing, so we're not blending it back down onto the cheek. And then if you wanted, you can go in with your big brush again with no product on, and you can just blend out that line even further, always blending upwards. So you can probably see from this side of my face, so this side I have a little bit more definition, and that's exactly why you contour. You want to give your cheekbones a little bit more definition. I wasn't blessed with beautiful high cheekbones, so I'm gonna fake it with my product. As you can see there, I have now got a cheekbone. The next place you can bring it is just around the temple area, and again, tiny amount of product, because you can always go in with more if you're unhappy, and you can just blend that back into the hairline, not into your hair, but just into the hair, natural hairline, just to make it look a little bit more natural. Then you want to bring it around the forehead. If you have a shorter forehead, the smaller brush is definitely more advisable. And again, just small amounts of product, and you just want to blend them back into the hairline, making sure you don't bring it down too far. If you have a larger forehead, that's no problem, but if you don't, then it'll just shorten your forehead even further. Where you bring your product down or how far you bring it down is personal preference. So the last place that you can contour, I'm just going to do for the purpose of this video, is around the jawline. So I don't know if you can see, again, this side of the face compared to the other side. This side has definitely got my cheekbones going on. So that's basically the places that you want to contour the face. I will just say as well, before I move on to highlighter, the reason why I don't contour my nose is because I don't feel like I need to. I'm not the best person to talk to about contouring your nose, because I don't generally do it. So now we're going to move on to highlighting the face. Highlighting is definitely my favorite thing to do makeup wise. I absolutely adore it. But if you're like me and you have kind of an oily T-zone, it can be your worst enemy. So you want to make sure that it's your best friend. How do you apply it properly? Well, I'm going to explain it. So you can use any types of brushes that you want. These are the two brushes that I would normally go with, and these are both from Inglot, just surprisingly enough. I will link down Morphe's website. Morphe has brushes exactly like this, and they're much more affordable, but the Inglot ones are just like my favorite for doing this, and they're just the ones that I had to hand. I use either a fan brush or a big fluffy brush like this. Depending on which product I'm working with, I go with either or. I'm not really picky about which brush I use on the day, and sometimes I even use my fingers. One of my favorite highlighting products is actually higher end, but I won't talk about it too much as well because it is limited edition, but it's one that I use quite a lot, and it's perfect topping from MAC, and I absolutely adore it. Just in case you were wondering what highlighters I do love from an affordable brand, and I'm actually like so stoked that I ever found this product. It's the Sleek Solstice palette. Now someone told me this was limited edition. I did see it on Boots online, so I will link it down below, but I absolutely adore this, and I just think on the face this translates amazing, and it's what I'm going to obviously use today. Sorry, I'm blinding you with the product. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to take this shadow down here, or this highlighting color, and I'm going to use a fan brush. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't get too much product with everything. You can always build up, but you can't take away. I apply it to just, if you smile, it's just over your apples of your cheeks, just kind of there, and I just apply it just ever so lightly and just fan it on. Now you can bring it around your temples, so where you were bronzing this area or contouring this area, you can bring it around that, so it's kind of like cupping the eye. The next place I often highlight is just over the brow. Again, it's all your own personal preference. You don't have to do that if you're worried about kind of being oily. And I sometimes highlight down the center of my nose. Another place that I commonly highlight, and I would do this with my finger, would be just underneath the brow bone. So they're the only places that I ever highlight. The last place that I highlight, but I can't do it today because I have lipstick on, is just over my cupid's bow. So I take a little bit on my finger and just dab it to that area, and it can just make your upper lip look a little bit larger. So the places that I will say just to be careful of applying any highlight would be to the chin and just in between your brows. Obviously you can apply a highlighter whatever you feel like you want to, but just if you apply it to those areas and you do get oily like me, it can just make it look a little bit oilier. Powder is definitely the way to go if you are a beginner, because it is easier to blend out, whereas when you're going with cream products they can take a little bit more time. I also love powder because you can build it up as well, and you usually apply it once your whole face is set and everything like that, so it's it's easier to work with and it's less messy and stuff like that. I do love the effects of cream contouring, don't get me wrong, but it just takes a little extra time. So I go with powder on a day-to-day basis and a bit of cream contour when I'm going anywhere special or on a night out or something like that. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know if there's any more beginner videos that you want to do. I'm going to do a beginner eyeshadow video, I think, very, very soon. And until then, I will talk to you in my next video. I love you guys. Bye!